Alrighty, hey everybody, Ragnamune here, welcoming you back to more Let's Play Gran Turismo 2. It's been a little while since I last recorded this, in terms of my recording schedules. Needless to say, I went through a lot of stress testing, and I played with both the original OBS and OBS Studio. Fingers crossed, boys, that we don't get many frame drops. I've lowered my frames per second back to 25 because I think one of the big problems of the frame rate kind of crapping out on me is, and I'm saying this as I drink coffee, I feel like the average Twitch pleb Sal from Need for Speed Carbon. But I just did a lot of testing. It was pretty it wasn't really gut wrenching. It was more along the lines of God, I want stuff to work even though it's not working. Anyways, let's get off that subject and get to more happy times. Today I'm showing off the Alfa 155 touring car. This is a very interesting engine, or rather a very interesting car, just because of what it has the capabilities of doing. And technically, I suppose because it's from Alfa Romeo, it falls under the exotic category. And we're going to be going through all three of these races with the Alfa Romeo. This is what we'll be doing for EuroLeague. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and turn my volume down. My personal volume, so I don't blow my ears out. What are you tuned to? That's good tuning. That's good tuning. So first race, Apricot Hill. You really don't race this track all that much, unfortunately, because I kind of like Apricot Hill as a raceway. It's big and wide, and it's got a nice length to it. If my emulator if the shading and everything on the emulator looks any different, it is because I also played with the emulator settings to see if I couldn't also fix that up a bit too. So there you go. As you know, I'm trying my damnedest to give you the best quality that I can when it comes to editing, whenever it comes to shooting, somewhat editing, and doing all this stuff. But my thoughts about doing this Let's Play series was maybe go back to my old formula of shoot in a 30 frames per second hypercam while using Audacity to catch my voice, and then I could edit the audio synchronization post-editing. Though I keep forgetting my goddamn renderer of the VideoPad video editor. It's kind of shot, and the fact that I can't render this in MP4 format, I'd have to go back to Windows Media Video, or WMV, means that I'd be in big trouble, because while the quality would take an increase, it would take me 5 hours to upload one video. Though there is one Let's Play that I have no shame in doing that for, if I ever get around to wanting to record that game, because it would probably be my magnum opus, aka the Let's Play I want to be remembered for. Which, unfortunately, HC Bailey has already done a Let's Play of, so it's like, damn it, I'm out of my league. How could I possibly go up against the king of JRPGs, HC Bailey, when it comes to presenting a video game in his quality and format and stuff like that. Though I will say this about, and yes, the game I'm talking about is Legend of Dragoon, or Dragoon, as we Westerners call it mostly, or Easterners, I want to say. The reason that I don't necessarily enjoy 100% his Let's Play is that he used the tried and true Hachel Maru team. He decided not to switch. What my plans for the Let's Play would have been to switch the teammates up and ground out each and every individual, get them all Dragoon level 5, get 3 Legend casks, get 3 Armor of Legend, and I would not use them until after I had already beaten the game at the point of no return, so I could kind of just go through and show you just why those armors are broken as hell. Maybe get a Phantom Shield to throw on top or something like that. But regardless, I can't dictate how a guy plays a game, and I'm sure as hell not going to be responsible for being the backseat gamer, because he's got his way of playing the game, I've got mine, and kudos to him all the more for Let's Playing one of my favorite games of all time, because honestly, I love Legend of Dragoon more than Final Fantasy VII. Yes, I did just say that. Come at me, FF7 fanboys. Your game waifu is shit. Shauna is best girl. Okay, but enough of that. Enough of that. Let's get into more pleasant subjects. Speaking of racing games, I did mention... I don't think I mentioned this, but in case I did, I actually went back and played Carbon again for the second time. I beat it for a second time, and I once again stuck to mainly tuners, and I even went after getting 1 mil in career mode cash. And in order to do that, I had to abuse tier 2 cars with my rubber banding partner, in this case Yumi. And once I eventually got my 1 mil, I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy a car of each type just so that I can say I got him. Just so that I could say I got him. Everything was cool and all that stuff. I also believe that the reason that shooting at 30 frames is a bad idea, the frame drops when they happen are way more noticeable. At 25, you might think, oh, it looks jagged and stuff, but thankfully, this is what it feels like when you play on the PAL version. So, there you go. Oh god, Grand Valley, why? I like Grand Valley, but Christ, it takes forever. Please be Grand Valley East section. Damn it. This is gonna be a 6-minute race. But, hey, at least I have stuff to talk about, so there you go. Anyways, back to Carbon. So, I did the first canyon chase against, I believe, Angie. I beat her. I believe I wasn't able to pass her, but I did beat her because I was able to maintain a healthy distance away from her. Once I got to Wolf and Kenji, though... Oh, no, it was Kenji that I beat. Angie and Wolf gave me trouble. But once I got to those two, it's like, okay, my Skyline is not having a good time against these. I can't pass these guys. So I figured, this Corvette that I bought, let's give you a try because I bought you. First 10 seconds, passed him, no problem. Won. What the hell? I was shocked that it did that amazingly. Same thing with Angie, passed her in the first 10 seconds, no problem, so I figured, you know what, I kind of want to race Darius in this thing, because I remember him giving me shit while I was using my Skyline. So, I threw up the Darius races. I passed everyone harder, and it took me a while to get used to the slidiness that was the Z06 Corvette. But eventually, I overcame that, and my god, I loved it. I raced Darius, took me a few tries, because I was slip-sliding everywhere and I was missing some shortcuts here. But once I got the shortcuts in my mind as to where they were, I beat Darius no problem. When I got to the canyon race, I was like, okay, let's see if I can first try this. And I do a pretty good job, but then he passes me, and it's like, okay, this is going to work out. Let's see what I can do on future attempts. On my third attempt to keeping up, I was like, wait a minute, I can pass this guy. Because I managed to do so, and he kept passing. So I was like, you know what, screw this. I'm going to keep going until I manage to win by passing him, and by about my 6th attempt, I was able to pass him on the first turn. 10 seconds ahead, no problem, victory, Darius, goodbye, boyo. I even went on YouTube and looked up the behind-the-scenes stuff, because my collector's edition behind-the-scenes disc is kind of busted. Rather, just scratched all and it won't play. But yeah, I was looking for in any interviews possible about the guy that played Darius, because I'm sure he's a cool guy at heart, like a nice guy on the outside, I would hope. But he definitely played like he did an excellent job portraying the jackass, the guy that you want to hate, because every Need for Speed game has the guy you want to hate. Look at Razor in Most Wanted. Everyone hates Razor. He's a real prick. His gang of 15 other racers gives you incentive to hate these guys too, and a couple of them even call you up. I remember Earl called you up midway through the game. Is like, Earl here, what's up? So you fight your way out of that. Like, he's giving you a real hard time and stuff. Like, I think he's running scared. And even Razor kind of gets a bit more on the crazy side of things. Have you noticed? And I kind of like the reference Most Wanted makes to it as well. Like, people as far as Bayview, which is Need for Speed Underground 2's city. Speaking of Need for Speed Underground, like, can we take a moment and just appreciate how far... Whoa! Hang on. Like, that's not emulator. That's, like, that's the entire machine here, like, kind of spazzing out. There's no way. Hold on. Okay, we should be good now. I have no idea what the hell caused that lag spike. I'm not even running this thing that hot. That was weird, but whoa! Don't want to take that turn too fast. Can we just step back and appreciate how much the Underground series, from the first game up until Carbon, is just, I feel like these are the best Need for Speed games ever. They give you they give you a nice selection of cars, give you the ability of customizing cars, and give you a nice variety of racing events to get you into, like, the racing genre, if you've never played a racing game before. And as of, like, you know, we look back at what was then versus now, we can agree that Need for Speed Most Wanted is the best looking Need for Speed game in the series. Not because it's the only game that lets you race during the daytime, but because just look how polished the game is, especially on the 360. The 360 is technically the HD version of the game, and my god, it runs beautifully. It is just, if you own a 360, I urge you, find a copy of Need for Speed Most Wanted, 2005, not 2012. That game's a travesty. Burnout ripoff. Or it's trying to be Burnout when you don't want it to be Burnout. But Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005, best Need for Speed game ever. Carbon comes at a close second. Carbon comes at a close second because it is pretty much a sequel to Most Wanted in terms of its structure. The racing changes up a bit. Pursuits are now optional. But if you want to get all the unlockables and unlock your dear sweet BMW M3 GTR from the previous game, you can do that, but you're only able to use it in quick races, and that's not as fun. So there you go. If anything, though, whenever I go after my Nissan 240SX, and I go after the pearlescent paints, because I love the pearl paints in these games, I've always have. Let's just say that because it's a Canyon time trial. The gold challenge, you get to race in the BMW M3 GTR, so I get my M3 fix for the game because I have to do that challenge if I want pearl paints, which is beautiful. So, there you go. The only thing that I fault Carbon for is the brutality of the game. Like, the first 3 districts, you should have absolutely no trouble in, barring maybe 1 or 2 races, depending on how much the AI decides to screw you over. Scouts are broken in the game. Drifters are broken once you get them. And certain car classes, I feel, don't perform as well as they should. Tuners, for example, I felt should have had much higher top speed than what they got. Because while they are, like, the handling car class, I feel like they get shafted. If you're trying to beat Darius in the tuner class, which is, like, the best, like, this is what you remember when you think of Need for Speed, like, just how well those cars handle. It's like, you don't have the speed to compensate, so you're paying for it. You have to pay the much more uncontrollable muscle cars, for the most part, which slide all over the place. But if you get a handle on them, then congratulations, you've busted the game a new one. So I feel there's an imbalance between all 3 car classes. Muscle ends up being the best car class once you get past all of the slip slidiness. Exotics have the best base stats all around, sure, but they don't come close to being able to beat stuff just because the muscles accelerate from 1 to 100, especially with use of nitros, in like 2 seconds. And I'm talking miles per hour, not kilometers, because I'm American. So that's just something that's what comes to pass. I suppose Rome Circuit is a little long for its own good. I mean, it's not the longest track out there. Thankfully, that goes to Grand Valley because I can't stand Grand Valley as much as I want to. Oh, but we haven't even come close to like what the longest tracks in the game are, because let's face it, the World Tournament is 5 laps of hell on different tracks. There is a 3-lap championship at I think lower horsepowers. So there's that, and then there's another 5 laps per track tournament, but it has more of the shorter tracks because it's got while it does have Laguna Seca, it does have Super Speedway to compensate. So there is that. And if you're watching this and wondering why the hell I haven't recorded the license tests, I am so sorry, but I decided against recording the license tests because it's the most boring part of the game, and it's like you know how Warcraft gates you in terms of time? This one gates you in terms of skill. If you're an inexperienced player trying to get all the licenses so you can race and those stuff, it's like you can't. And I hear Grand Theft Auto 1's license tests were even more brutal. I went and watched Mark's classic gamer review of both 1 and 2 that he shot, and it's like, good God, I didn't know it'd be this hard. But I'll give GT1 this. It definitely had a much better emphasis on its musical soundtrack, because here we have licensed music, fair enough. That stuff doesn't look like it's licensed, but it definitely captures some of the feel of these racing games better, because it's nice and paced with itself. It's got a kickin' soundtrack. I kind of want to find it and rip it just so that I can give it a listen to when I'm playing Gran Turismo 2 to see how it compares. And there's only 11 tracks, counting the test course. There's only 11 tracks. I understand that. It was the first one of its time. It paved the way for GT2 and all of its improvements. And I found out that Gran Turismo 1 did have analog control. It did have analog control. Because I remember, because Mark brought up that this is the first game that was designed with the wheel in mind, so if you didn't have analog, you couldn't race with the wheel. So yeah, GT1 did have analog. So I might end up, if you guys want me to, I'll go out, I'll buy Gran Turismo 1 if I can find it, give it a look-see, play through it as best as I can, and I will eventually throw it up on this emulator here, record some footage of it, post it to the channel if you guys would like to see that. So let me know down in the comments if you want to see Gran Turismo 1, if you want to see where the series began. Speaking of it, I saw a video that showed like all of the Gran Turismo games from the time up. Everyone's thinking GT3 is the best looking one and stuff, but I don't know. I looked at Gran Turismo 3 and was like, this actually looks ugly for PS2 standards. I'm not saying because of how time and whatnot. It maybe just because it was released earlier. But the cars don't sound as well as they do. I want to say Gran Turismo 2 was the best in the series in terms of everything. Like, the visuals for the PS1 era were top-notch, as far as I'm aware. Like, I'm not trying to ride this game's virtual, you-know-what, but I do believe this game was the best of the Gran Turismo series. Best racing game on the PS2? Let me quote one of DP Yu-Gi-Oh, or Drew, if you know him from the Yu-Gi tubing community. Let me quote one of his variously used clips. That's a reach, because I think there's plenty of other racing games on the PS1 that are better in their own right. Crash Team Racing, I think, is the best one on the PS1 ever. Gran Turismo 2 is probably in my top 3. I don't think I've played another racing game on the PS1 though, so I'll have to get back to you on that. I mean, I played Toy Story Racer, but I wouldn't call that a best racing game because look, I haven't gone back and recorded the second half of the game yet. Anyways, we have done all of the EuroLeague and Pacific League. Let's go ahead and take a look at the prizes from EuroLeague. We get the Castrol Supra. You can buy a Supra from Tom for 100 million. I'm sorry, for 1 million. Which is great and all, but I kind of like this one just a little better. That's just me. The Zexel Skyline, another Skyline this is just another Skyline, so if you don't have your Nisa Jex yet, this one will tide you over. And the Cure R33, another four-wheel drive. I believe R33 is Nissan. I'm gonna actually go put this in and see if it is a Nissan car. I want to say the R33 is Nissan. Let's go see if I'm correct. Haha! I am correct. Do I know my car trivia or what, boys? I'm gonna get back in my Alpha. Yeah, I'm gonna get back in my Alpha. There you go. But yeah, so that was the entirety of, well, the year-end specifically. Go to racing, you fool, so you can give your outro and show off what you're going to do next. So, because I've done U.S. Nationals, rather all the Nationals here, I've done the league races and got some nice racing cars, I am now able to enter this. This is a free... The reason that this is particularly easy is because it is a free. It has no restriction on the amount of horsepower. So I could go get that Suzuki Pikes Peak Escudo after grinding out a little bit of cash, of course. I can go get that car and race this in here and be done in 45 minutes, and that would unlock the credits. Don't forget that I can also go ahead and show you the event generator. In fact, do I have? Yeah, I have time. I'll go ahead and show off one race. But this basically is, if you were ever looking for a Gran Turismo 2 randomizer, here you go. In fact, that might actually be an interesting video idea. Pick a car, like from any of the list, pick a randomizer event, and race until you get enough car and parts and stuff like that to get the Suzuki Pikes Peak. Okay, we got Deep Forest. Pretty good. The only difference of the event... Excuse me, that was my coffee. The only difference of the event generator is you will start in motion. So there's no countdown. And the tracks that get picked might end up being raced in reverse. Oh no, you don't start in motion. Never mind. Ragnamoon is an idiot. I am an idiot. Though the cars do scale to your level. So I suppose one more race for $7 grand won't hurt. Gives me more stuff to talk about. The cars scale to your horsepower, not so much to how well your car is tuned. So if I entered with like a stock Skyline, I'd be ready to go. If I entered with a stock Skyline, I'd have hell. If I entered with my fully tuned 774 horsepower Skyline, which I want to build and race, then I'd be set and ready to go. But there's a lot of cars I want to show off if I can. But I won't be able to show off nearly as many as I want to just because, well, that's just the way the game is. And yes, guys, there will be filler episodes because I will want to dedicate episodes to just showing off a couple of cars here and there while grinding some money. So yeah, it'll be a little anime-ish, but hey, what can you do? Not to mention, as I mentioned in an earlier part, I do want to do everything aside from the endurance races. So that means I have to look at the car companies, every single one of them, buy a car and win all of their normal races, and if they have them, tune those cars to win the racing events. And that means I have to grind a lot of money to get and afford all of those cars. I want to show off a lot. I want to make this like a really good, really long, and a meaty Let's Play, as it were. Not so much do everything in the game. If I do end up showing off like the prize cars from the endurance mode, then I'm not going to show the full races. I'll hit up a Game Shark and activate like a lap glitch cheat, which basically makes it to where I only have to race 2 laps. And that'll only be for unlocking the cars itself. So yeah, I have no shame in doing that, but it's only because I don't want to spend 90 minutes recording this, have my computer crash on me and be like, fuck, now I have to do all those 90 minutes again. I don't want to do that. I will end up doing that on my real hardware, because if I want those cars on my actual save file, on my PS1 memory card, I have to grin and bear it. And I do end up booting that up from time to time, just to play around and test cars here and there. Alright, that's 2 minutes spent. Nasu. So you can see that I got like, oh, that's a Vector. How did the Vector not take second? That was a Mazda Speed RX-7. I thought it was just regular Mazda. Huh. But yeah. Also, the events, you'll get 7,000 from this. I believe it's 10,000 for medium. I want to say 15,000 from hard, and you do a rate. I think it's 25 grand for the expert, but the expert is actually a tournament of 5. And then you get 150 as well from just winning all that. But the problem with that is that you don't get extra cars, so it's kind of worthless to do expert mode. So there you go. Anyways, it's time to save state. Boom. And next time we meet, guys, well, I'll tell you right now, I'm not planning on doing the, here's what I'm talking about. Let me show you real quick. Like, I could just end off the Let's Play a little bit by doing the Gran Turismo World League, but that's not even 20% of the game, I want to say. Actually, I'm probably lying. Not licensor credits, game status. Yeah, what I've done right now hasn't even been 20% of everything you can do in this game. As you can see, I have 35 bronze, 21 silver, 4 of that. I have no idea what that is. Like, what is that one down below? I have no idea. Hold on, what's that say? Number car zone 14, total value car zone. Damn, I put 10 mil into these cars. Well, and again, I have one half them. But let me go to racing because I just want to show you. Look at everything here I have to do. I have to do full front, full rear, mid-engine, and four-wheel drive. That means that this is MR. I've also got 5 different cups here that I got to show off because they all give prize cars too. I have 2 more races in the pure sports car cup I got to do. I got to show off the 80s sports car cup, the station wagon cup. Why do we not have station wagon hoopties? Bring back Buick. And I have to show you, these I will show because these are pretty much just other versions of the champion. These are 2 more championships you can race in for the hell of it. Like this one has Grand Valley East, so it's a shorter track. Midfield's shorter, Apricot Hill's shorter, Deep Forest is a bit shorter. Yeah, it is shorter. And Laguna Seca is always with Laguna Seca. But this is 3 laps long. This is 3 laps per race. This one's 5 laps per race, but it is a bit shorter on the tracks itself. I mean, at the very least, we're getting the worst one, Laguna Seca, out the way. But it also has Super Speedway, and that's a super fast race. So if you need money, it's like you have your options. You can do Gran Turismo All-Stars and just race there. You can win some prize cars from GT500 alongside just pure cash. I also have to show off like the tuning car trophy, which is 493s. These are free as well, and I might dedicate a whole episode to showing that off. But here's the thing. This is for tuned turbocharged cars, and it's free. These are free, but these are for cars that do not support turbo and superchargers. So basically like your muscle cars. So I can show off muscles and exotics from here for the most part. Well, I could show off muscles here and I could show off exotics here. And you damn right tuner's my favorite. So I've rambled long enough, I'm sorry, but that's just a lot of what I can show off there. I have all of these rally events too. Now these rally events, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 12... 15, 18, 21, 24, 27 rally events to show off. And basically, you're just racing 9 courses, a total of 3 times each. By the way, Pikes Peak Hill Climb? Look who you're racing. Oh, I'm gonna have hell trying to beat that car. But I'm also gonna try my damnedest to beat these guys without using the Pikes Peak Escudo for the most part. Because I do want to try and win these without, you know, stooping to other levels. So, there you go. Alrighty then. This is Ragnamune signing out. You guys have a great night. Thanks for watching, and fuck these endurance races. I don't want to do these. Not on camera anyways. I mean, I'm going to be artificially inflating my goddamn percentage, but... I mean, try them out in 30 laps doesn't seem bad, but you can only do 295. Laguna Seca, 200 miles. Go away. Millennium in Rome, 2-hour endurance. Ugh. An all-nighter. Seattle seems pretty cool. It's probably 99 laps. Apricot Hill, 200 kilometers. By the way, 200 kilometers is about... I'm trying to think here. I think that's about 80 or so miles. Grand Valley, that's about 120. I think that's about 150, 180, somewhere around there. I'm probably crap at this. I'll have actually some interesting trivia for you about these tomorrow, so stay tuned to that. I'm out of here, guys. Peace.